Hello everyone, this is the Crypto Market Journey by Dylan Pasha McMahon. This is a series on how I navigate the crypto markets operating on a 4-year cycle. Today we'll be going over liquidity update, portfolio update, and estimated evaluation of Bitcoin's path and what this means for the rest of the market. Episode 5, preparation. So, of course I haven't uploaded in a while. I think last time I uploaded was maybe 2 weeks ago. And the reason for this is because there hasn't been anything to really talk about. But, of course, big changes have been happening this week, so I'll be basically going over them. And through that, I'll just be explaining it all on this video. Now, some people will actually come across this video, because I actually know that some people actually know nothing about the markets, and they're actually coming across my videos, and they're kind of questioning, well, why do you keep on changing your stance? The reason for that is, when you're in the markets, you kind of have to change your stance every so often, right? Because sometimes your thesis won't be right. Therefore, you must switch and change very quickly. And at the moment, we're having this big change, which is why I'm wanting to cut my positions a bit more. So, let's go over episode 5, preparation. Of course, I have to click on it. So, let's talk liquidity, major crash inbound. Now, I do believe a major crash is inbound due to the TGA. Now, if you don't know what the TGA is, think of it basically like the government's index for when they are going more into cash versus going into assets. So whenever the TGA goes up, it basically means this is bad for the economy and markets, because it's basically saying the US government wants to go more into cash than they do assets, and whenever it goes down, it basically means the government's going more into assets than it is cash. And basically one-to-one replica to this is this index I found on TradingView. Now, this isn't perfect, but it's close enough. Whenever this goes down, basically means markets go up. Whenever this goes up, it means markets go down. And as we can see, I'm currently seeing this right now. And I am basically anticipating a increase due to the TGA. Now, why is this? Why I am expecting this? Well, the reason for this is due to the end of April. The TGA balance will rise due to a big tax intake, which basically means every single year, as everyone should know, everyone has to pay their taxes if you run a big business, and also if you're invested into the financial markets. This will cause a liquidity drain. Now, why is this such a big thing? Because this happens every single year. Like, if you go on the charts, go on Bitcoin, you can actually see this happens all the time. So we're having this here now. It happened over here. We had a big fall down throughout April. It was basically there. And we basically had the same thing. I think it was, over here. Basically had the same thing going down. So why is this such a big concern? Because obviously we've already gone down like 30%. Like, you look at the charts now, we've already declined over 30%. Right over here, 31%. You look over here, we went down 32%. And if you look over here, we didn't even go down that much either. We only went down 20%. So why is this such a big concern? Like, surely we should just rise from here. No, I don't think that. I am expecting actually a slip in by Trump with this to induce more tariffs, which will actually push the market lower. It's simply him seeing the TGA spend down, because he's a smart investor, and just saying, this is actually an opportunity for me to actually induce tariffs way more to push the market lower. And what's interesting about this is the market order books are actually agreeing with this. Which, if we jump over here, this is on CoinGlass. It's a free website everyone can use. Which actually we're seeing a lot of sell orders above current price. This is around about 500 Bitcoin worth of sell orders on the spot market. This is around about 1,000, which is basically saying we're looking for an exit pump around this range. Now, of course, this is what we have been expecting. And what's funny enough is on the futures liquidations, we're actually seeing the exact same thing. with much more dense liquidations a lot more lower. So looking at that portfolio, my portfolio hasn't really changed at this current point. I am wanting to change it later on, but if this exit pump does occur, I will be cutting my positions in half, such as Bitcoin and alts. My cash will remain the same because it's cash. Waiting for the real bottom to form. So now comes the question, when will the real bottom form? Well, we have to look at this through a technical analysis standpoint, which is why we're falling over here. Now, what was actually the reason why we pumped? Well, the reason why we pumped, throughout this range here, was basically due to Trump winning, which was completely and utterly based upon hype. Now, what's kind of funny is when we're based upon hype, there's nothing really holding us up. It's just people just kind of aping into random shit, right? So usually when this happens, it usually is indicative of a major correction, like we saw over here. This whole pump over here was actually due to Elon Musk using Bitcoin for Tesla, and when it was around about the top, because Elon Musk was smart, it was there like, right, we're not doing this anymore, and due to that we saw a major correction. And I believe the same thing is going to happen here. And what's funny enough is we're actually seeing a lot of bid orders coming in around this level. It's coming around about from here to around about here, so around about this range here. So yeah, that's currently where I believe the bottom will basically form, and especially where I'm looking to allocate. Of course, I will allocate when the bids show on chain. Now finally comes the question of Bitcoin's evaluation price. How high are we going to get in the overall market? Well, to answer this question, we have to go back to the subject of liquidity. Now, as we all know, where liquidity moves, market moves. So, as I currently said before, Trump will most likely induce tariffs, which will send the economy to shit. Once this happens, liquidity injections will be the last resort to stabilize the economy, like we had in COVID, where we saw a 34% increase within liquidity, which I'm not sure if you could see it. It was basically this whole pump around about here in liquidity, which basically means if we see this exact same thing over here, from the bottom over here to the top over here, we're looking at around about 7.4 trillion in evaluation for liquidity, meaning it will put it at an all-time high in liquidity. Now, if we're actually looking at this, we are basically expecting the exact same thing like we had on Bitcoin over here. Over here, throughout this range over here, which basically means if this happens, because over here, I believe Bitcoin pumped around about 130%, let's just round that out. Meaning, if we're expecting anywhere around about here, 130% is actually a bit lower. 130% is around about there. Puts us at around about 128,000. But I'm expecting around about 160,000. Again, I don't really know where it's going to top out at, because I'm not a fucking market reader. But I am expecting anywhere around this region over here, which of course that will bring an end to the 4-year cycle. As we know, that's what I operate on. If you look at 12 months worth, that would basically mean where we are at the moment. This whole 4-year cycle will actually end positive again around about 160,000, so around about here. And hell, it might even go a bit higher. We'll have to see how much the madness actually goes on for. But from there, we will be expecting a bear market, which will usually incline the market to fall around about 60%, which means 60% from the highs, which will put us around about 65k worth of a bottom throughout the bear market. But again, that's too far into the future. I'm focused on the bull market. So that's basically what my evaluation is currently at the moment for Bitcoin. Now, what does this mean for the rest of the market? Well, currently as it stands in altcoins, I haven't really changed any of my altcoin positions as it stands right now, mainly due to the fact of outlier price action, which basically means the current meme coins I'm currently invested in at the moment don't really need liquidity to rise, due to the fact that they're so low in evaluation. They're able to rise easily without it. So as it currently stands, I haven't changed much on my altcoin positions, but maybe when it comes to the exit pump, I will be thinking about it. And that will basically bring an end to the 4-year cycle. Now, my current thoughts on the 4-year cycle so far is, if this really does happen, where we actually only end up getting to around about 160%, this will actually mark the lowest kind of retard zone we've basically had for the last phase of the bull market. Because actually what we've seen throughout prior bull markets is, as I said, 3 years up, one year down. But usually on the third one, we usually see the most craziest price action, like we had over in, when was this? So the first year was 2017, where on the third year we saw an increase of over 2000%, so a 20x. Then going into 2021, we saw an increase of only 140%, which again, if we are expecting the same thing over here, this would mean it would only pump around about only 72%. So as we're actually seeing currently as it stands, over the 4-year cycle, the third year is actually decreasing, which is actually currently worrying. Now, am I really asked about this? No, because I actually believe that we actually had the majority of it over here, where we had a 160% increase, which if you actually view it from the bottom, if we go up to 160,000, we actually would have seen an increase of a 8x return on Bitcoin. So am I asked about it? No, not really. I'm still sitting in major profit, so I'm happy with the whole current market, and I am actually looking forward to next bull cycle, because I will make a fuck ton more, and I cannot wait for it. So yeah, that has been episode, I can't even remember, I've been rambling on for so long now. That has been episode 5, preparation, and yeah, that's it, guys. You got any questions, drop me a comment and I will reply to them. So yeah, see you guys later. Ta-ra.